Hi, everybody. How are you all doing? This week I have a little tidbit for you, and it's on happiness. And a lot of the times, we're all looking for happiness. We're all wanting to feel happy all the time. And one of the reasons, or two reasons really, why we don't feel more happiness in our lives is because, one, we make happiness conditional, and two, we often think ourselves out of happiness. And I'll explain a little bit more about these two, but essentially, happiness is an internal feeling state. It is an emotion that we can connect with at any given moment, no matter what is happening in our lives. That is true happiness, and having that relationship with happiness doesn't mean that it's fleeting. It doesn't just happen every now and again. It is something that you can consciously connect with and cultivate in your life no matter what. And that's the important part, no matter what, because we all deserve to be happy. We don't, nobody deserves to just have glimpses of happiness throughout their life, whether a couple of times a year, a couple of times a month, like that. It is an internal feeling state that we can connect with at any time. But like I mentioned, two of the reasons why we often don't feel happy or allow ourselves to feel happy or give ourselves permission to be happy more than just every now and again is because, one, we make it conditional. So we make our happiness entirely conditional, whether that's on someone else doing something for us, on, reaching a certain job, having a certain home, feeling a certain way, living in a certain place, earning a certain amount of money, having certain expectations from friends, from families, from partners of things they need to do for us, and then we'll be happy. So we make it conditional in a million and one different ways. We have so many ways that we make our happiness conditional. And again, when we make it conditional, and if those things don't happen, if those conditions don't happen, or if it takes a year, 2 years, 10 years for that condition to happen, well, then you're not going to feel happy. And again, this is not to say you cannot dream and want to evolve and have, better things or improve for yourself. Absolutely. But again, if we make our happiness only conditioned on those things, well, we're going to feel lack, horrible, misery, depression, anxiety, fear, whatever it is, scarcity, lack in the interim. Whereas we can have our dreams and our goals, and we can feel happy in the interim as well. So that's the first reason. We make it conditional. Secondly, we often think ourselves out of happiness, and we don't allow happiness to show up in any given moment, or allow happiness for the simplest of things, because again, we're often making it conditional based off of these huge things happening. So we don't appreciate or allow ourselves to be happy for the tiny little things. But also, there's another really important element to thinking ourselves out of happiness as well. I think for a lot of people, there's an underlying subconscious feeling of, well, I can't allow myself to be too happy. My God, if I got too happy, what'll happen? We nearly jinx ourselves to, well, I can't allow myself to get too happy, to get too excited, to get too whatever, because what's going to be the flip side? There's always a catch. There's always a downfall. And that's not always necessarily true, but if that's the way you've programmed yourself, well, then no matter what happens, you will see it as a downfall after your happiness. So give yourself permission to be happy and find happiness in the tiniest, simplest of things, because that's what true happiness is. It is the appreciation of everything, no matter what is happening. It is finding those little tiny sparks that make you smile, that make you feel gratitude, no matter what is happening. So think about it. Do you make your happiness conditional? Or then again, do you often think yourself out of happiness, or you're afraid to let yourself be too happy because you think there's going to be a flip side, a negative, a downfall after it? Get curious, go within, see what's true for you and flip it, change it. That's your power. And find happiness all the time, every day. Like that, we're here to be happy. Life is to be enjoyed. That doesn't mean there's not going to be challenges and difficulties, but again, we can always find something to be happy for and allow our happiness to come through no matter what. And when we live in that way, things shift completely. Let me know how you get on.